Good morning. This is Daily Hebrew Declarations with Daniel Jedediah Cook, and I'm reading the declaration for today, February the 1st, 2021. The three Hebrew letters we're honoring today are Nun, Aleph, and Shin. Along with those three living letters, we're also honoring the spirit of understanding, the spirit of the Lord, and the spirit of might. The declaration today reads this: the fullness of a son, faithful, humbled prince. Here we are, full of quiet strength, with a stillness to our inner core. We are crowned with flames of fire. We lay hold of our promises from Yahweh. Now, today's declaration really reminds me of a weekly Torah reading, or a parsha, that really begins in the first part of Leviticus. Particularly as we talk about this first part of this, where we say the fullness of the fullness of a son, the faithful, humbled prince. You know, when a lot of times when I think about this, I think about Moshe. One of the things about Moshe is that he had a testimony throughout all of Israel, and that testimony was that he walked and talked with Yahweh as one friend talks to another. There were no riddles, there were no mysteries, there were no secrets between the two of them, but they would talk face to face. It began that day at the burning bush. Now, many say that at the burning bush that it could have lasted just a few minutes, or others believe that period of time when Moshe was standing in front of the burning bush, he was actually arguing with Yahweh a little bit. He was saying, because Yahweh was saying, I want you to take my people Israel, and I want to take them out of Egypt, and I want to take them into the land that I have prepared for them. And Moshe's heart began with this: Yahweh, let this be the last Exodus ever. In other words, let this be the one and only time that as sons of you, as the sons of Almighty Yahweh here, let us come out of this and never go back into bondage or slavery ever again. You see, Moshe's heart was to see the people of Israel not just released from the bondage of what was going on in Israel, but to be a permanent part, to let it be this place where it was from this point forward. And the conversation with Yahweh goes back and forth, and in a sense, I don't know exactly how to articulate this perfectly in order to make it make enough sense. But let's say that Yahweh began the process to really allow Moshe's heart to come to pass, to allow this place of the people of Israel to be set free once and for all. Now, in history, we realize that may not have happened because there were other exoduses besides this one. But that didn't mean that Yahweh didn't set up an opportunity for the people of Israel to be able to do exactly what Moshe had cried out to do. But there's a specific word that begins in the beginning of Leviticus. And the Hebrew word is vayakar, or vayakra. Now, when Moshe was arguing with Yahweh, particularly about this one letter, the word that Yahweh wanted to put was vayakra, which really is vav, yud, kuf, resh, and aleph. So in the last position, in the final position there was going to be an aleph that was there. Well, that word there literally means to be called. And it talks about this place of really, of the fact that Moshe and Yahweh had a very, very close relationship, that they walked face to face and side by side and that sort of thing. But Moshe argued with Yahweh, and he said, because I would rather put vayokar without the final aleph. And the reason for that is that word literally means by chance. In other words, that occasionally Yahweh would speak with Moshe. Then it begins to beg the question: why did Moshe feel like this? Why did he want to not allow the people of Israel to know that really Yahweh talked with him all the time? It really became a part of this place of him in being this humbled prince, this place of him understanding humility. But Yahweh says, no, 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 no. That I don't want that to come across, because it is more important that the people of Israel understand that I do talk with you day in and day out. You and I have a close relationship, that we walk side by side. Why? Because I want that same thing with them. You see, the very process of the whole Mount Sinai, or Mount Sinai as we like to call that, the whole process of what's going on in that time of the Exodus from Egypt, and the process that Yahweh is taking them through, and the place that he is showing them, is bringing them to a place of saying, hey, this is the relationship I want with you. Look to Moshe. Look to the things that he is saying. Look to the fact that I do have a close relationship with him, and that I want you to have this same relationship with me just as he has with me. There is no difference. I am no respecter of persons, but one who says, yes, I'm going to work with, right? And so this is the place where, as the faithful, humbled prince, that Moshe was able to stand in this full, quiet strength and stillness to the inner core. I love this particular part there, because in the original text, that Aleph was actually written very small. And it was written small on purpose, because Aleph, again, represents the fullness of Yahweh. Aleph is the letter that talks about, to me, not only just the fact that he is a strong leader, but also the fact of his promises and the fullness of his promises, the completion of his promises. It's almost as if Aleph touches every other letter. Now, we also know that the Yud touches every other letter, but there are two Yuds inside of the living letter Aleph. Now, Yud is the 10th letter. It's the smallest of all of them. It's the little dot that contains a lot, right? There's an upper Yud that connects to the slanted Vav that really speaks about the place of the heavenlies. There's a lower Yud that has a trail, if you will, a path that leads up to that center Vav that's laid over. Both of these Yuds come together in that center Vav, and they create and form the living letter Aleph. So in the lower Yud, I begin to see this place of my journey through to Yeshua himself, because Yeshua laid his life down for us when he laid his life down on the cross. And he bridged the gap between the heavenlies and us, from between the Father and us. And so in this path, it always leads us to Yeshua. Upper part of the Yud actually forms a hidden letter. There's a hidden letter in the living letter Aleph that can be seen mainly in certain fonts, but I can still honor that no matter what font is actually being used. But that living letter that's hidden in the very top there is Beit. Because see, at the top part of that, I'm reminded of the scripture, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. Yeshua himself said this. Why did he say this? Because there was a living letter Beit hidden in the upper part, the heavenly part. This is the place of that communion, that place where we walk together in oneness with Yahweh, where we walk together in closeness. Think about what we've just been talking about with Moshe. Think about this place where Moshe was so humbled and had such a humility about himself, that what he was saying was, I don't know that I am worthy enough to be able to take that Aleph and let that Aleph represent me. You see, that final Aleph was representing Moshe. Yahweh knew that final Aleph would represent Moshe. So out of honor, Moshe honored what Yahweh had asked him to do, and he put the Vayikra. I hope I'm saying that right. But he put the Aleph at the end of that, but he made it smaller than the rest because of the fact that it did represent himself. You see, we are him in the earth. Yahweh has made us an express representation. We are not him. We are not him, but we are the express representation of him. We are looking into his face and becoming what we behold. We're becoming his children. We're becoming his sons. We're becoming the place where we are crowned with the flames of fire, the flames of Shin, the flames of the fire of Almighty Yahweh, the crown of fire, as we hold on to our promises from Yahweh. Yahweh is saying, I have this relationship with you. I want this relationship with you. This relationship is available. It's your choice to join.